Hello everyone, this is Bruce Haas, your head tutor. Welcome to Module 6 on communication and marketing. But before I go there, I just want to reflect a little bit about some of the previous modules. So to start with, I wanted to speak a little bit about the assignment for Module 4, which you received back on Monday evening. That module was on production and consumption. There were a lot of good submissions, but I think one of the things where we saw a lot of room for improvement was in terms of getting the business case right. So finding that balance between profitability and costs. And that's something that you will inevitably struggle with when you try and implement sustainability strategies in business. So, for example, setting up a monitoring system for your supply chain or growing organic coffee yourself are things that are probably beyond the scope of a company like the BWF, the fashion company, or the organic coffee house chain in Washington, D.C. This is a very extensive activity that requires a lot of financial investment and time to develop. So you need to make sure that you have the business case very clear as to what the costs will be and what the implications will be for the company in terms of profitability and how you're going to finance those costs in order to bridge the gap between the time that the investment needs to be made and that you're seeing a payback in some way or another. So that's very important to keep in mind, which is also why we raised it. There are also things that about scope. So, for example, what might be appropriate for a global coffee producer like Nescafe would probably not necessarily be the route that a small coffee shop or group of coffee shops would take. Just the level of resourcing would be very different. So in trying to prepare the modules, try and be as practical as possible and pragmatic. Think about your own business and how you would be able to, what you would be able to finance and what you wouldn't be able to finance, and keep that in mind for these modules moving forward. So the module we just finished was about design, technology, and planning for sustainability. This is a very interesting module. Most people enjoy this very much because it's quite creative. Um, People in the forums were off to a bit of a slow start. I think this idea of forming one answer as a group in an online environment was quite challenging for people. Um, and many people found that kind of collaboration difficult. But once things got going, we had some very interesting and good um, results for each of the groups on the different design projects. So I hope that you not only learned something from the ideas around design and how that needs to be built into sustainability, but also about issues around self-organizing and trying to undertake challenges where things may not be clearly defined. This often involves stepping out of your comfort zone to organize things that may not have existed in the past, but this is an important step which you may have to take as a sustainability leader in the future. So hope that was useful. And as I mentioned, there's a follow-up video from Professor Hocking on this project, which you'll see in Module 6, and you can hear some of his thoughts about maybe what could have been the key elements of this project. Elspeth and I will provide some content or some response to your group's final submission, but keep in mind you're graded on participation for the small groups forum, so you will not receive an actual mark for that submission that you all put together. Okay, so moving on to Module 6, Communication and Marketing. Being successful in implementing sustainability initiatives in business is not just about understanding the business and sustainability challenges or the industry, but in order to be effective, it's also often about communication. Communicating complex topics in a way that is relevant and understandable to a wide range of stakeholders or to specific stakeholders. So this applies to both internal and external communication. No matter how good your sustainability initiatives may be, getting buy-in from senior management will be the make or break of successful initiatives. And in many cases, the entire organization needs to be on board if you're really talking about changing the direction of a company. So this kind of effective internal communication is essential. So also, if sustainability is truly embedded in your organization, it will come up often in the company's mission statement, but also in how the company markets and communicates about its products. So for consumer-facing brands, being able to communicate about your company's story effectively and honestly and with integrity is a skill that many sustainability professionals often find very challenging. And this week's assignment is about just that. So this kind of communication, and in this case specifically in a digital context. So with that, I wish you the best of success for Module 6, and I look forward to seeing you in the forums.